Hi, my name is Jeremy, and this is a new channel, the New Release Wall, and it's going to be focused on movie reviews. Basically, I wanted to make a website where the movie reviews were done a little bit differently. Most movie reviews are star-based, you know what I mean? You got the stars system. And my problem with the star system is I never knew what the stars meant. Like, when one person gives 4 stars, it means something else than another person that gives 4 stars. Barely anybody ever gives 5 stars. You don't even see 3 stars that often. But, I mean, there is some 3 stars. But anyway, with the website that I partnered with this channel, I basically have, there's 7 things that you can, 7 different tiers. Okay. The highest one is, top 10. That's if the movie is so good, it's top 10 of all time. So the reviews that I wanted to focus on are basically if you recommend the movie to somebody. Like if somebody came to you and said, you know, is this a good movie? And you're like, yeah, I'd recommend you see it. You know what I mean? That's basically what people are looking for. They're like, they basically want to see like one of 2 things. If you recommend it, or if you think it's fantastic. I mean, that's basically those 2 things. If you say anything else, they're basically like, all right, so it wasn't that great. So on the site, New Release Wall, basically the I recommend or you have to see it if it's really good are the primary ratings that you would give if a movie's good. It's kind of like a thumbs up. One of them's like, you know, I guess a big thumbs up. I also have, I liked it, but it says, it's like sometimes you like a movie, but you know that your friend's not going to. So you're like, I liked it, but you might not. You know what I mean? I liked it, but I like weird movies, that kind of thing. So there's an I liked it, but, and then there's just okay. You know what I mean? When somebody asks, hey, do you like this movie? And you're like, oh, it was just okay. Like, that basically means you didn't really like it that much. Then there's 2 more bottom tiers. Just I guess if you're mad at the movie, or like one of them's don't bother and the other one's amateur bad. Now, I wouldn't put amateur bad on anything unless it was really that bad. You know what I mean? You're like, dude, this movie, I don't even think it was done professionally. You know, that's amateur bad. But if anybody puts amateur bad on like a movie that's like, you know what I mean, like that has a real budget, they're just mad at the movie. So basically, most people will stick to the, you know, it's just okay, I liked it, but I recommend, or you have to see it. Now, if it was so great that you love this movie, you can put it in the top 10 of all time. And, you know, of course, I want to keep track of people's top 10s because that's a big deal. Like sometimes when somebody says, I like a movie, I like to know like, well, okay, so you didn't like this or you did like it. Like, what are your top 3 horror movies? And then I can kind of judge like what like how they rate movies, you know what I mean? And that was another thing about this site, that the New Release Wall, is we're actually rating critics on the site. Like when you rate movies, the critics that rate movies like you will show up first. In other words, like, you know, if you, because there's a lot of times when you got like these weird critics that like, they've watched so many movies or they're, you know, they're based in Hollywood or whatever. And so you can't relate to the kind of movies they like. They just like weird ass movies. And everyone knows that. Everyone knows that there's like that's why even like in Rotten Tomatoes, like you got critic score and then you got audience score. And that's because like people have learned that there's a lot of critics that have like just taste that isn't like yours. But on the new release wall, the first reviews that you see will be from people that rate movies like you. In other words, the new release wall is actually rating critics. So like if you rated, let's just say 25 movies, all I recommend, and there's another person that like rated the same thing, then that person will show up first. That person will be the front there because they agree with you most of the time. So it keeps track of how often a critic agrees with you. And so that way, what do you call it? You can look and see, okay, these people all think like me based on like what I've, based on how I've rated movies in the past. So since they've agreed with me 90% of the time, I can trust their recommendation. And you know, on this movie they say I recommend, on this other movie they say it was just okay. And the more you rate movies, the more accurate you can see other people's, you know what I mean, like review scores, because they're rating movies too, and then you'll start getting feedback from them, and you'll be able to see like which people normally agree with you, and you can actually hover over their thing and see like, oh, okay, this person has agreed with me 95% of the time. You know what I mean? So on this site, we're actually rating critics too. So some critics are just you know what I mean? Of course, they're horrible. Like, what do you call it? They don't think it, like whatever they think is good is not good to you. You know what I mean? And in a way, we also have allowed critics to think about their critiques more along the lines of like for other people too. Because again, if they rate a movie that nobody else likes, but they rate it high, then they actually get downgraded. Now, this might be natural. That might be you that likes movies that nobody else likes. So to keep them able to like, you know what I mean, to like maintain their critic status, there's a way like you could say like, I recommend this, like I liked it, but you have to like this kind of movie in order to like it. You know what I mean? So if you don't like that kind of movie, that means they're right. You know what I mean? So they can maintain their like their critic status. If by guessing or recommending based on what they think. So like for instance, I'm not a huge fan of like the can't be shot, almost invincible type of spy movies, like the Bourne Identity. I think it was the Bourne Identity with Matt Damon. But I know a lot of people like them. So like if I was to rate that movie, I would be like, it's just okay. You know what I mean? But if you like John Wick, you're going to like this movie. You know what I mean? And then that means if you like John Wick, then I was right. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily like it for myself, but I'm good at recommending movies and guessing someone's taste, if that makes sense. So I might not have liked it, but I can still recommend it and be like, hey, if you like John Wick, you'll love this movie. You know what I mean? Then you can trust what I say. It also puts my mentality in more of a serve the public. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get the feeling that critics are just sort of like, you know what I mean? They're juicing themselves up. They're like, I like this, and I gotta my palate is so great. And it's annoying. Like, a lot of people, we all kind of suspect that they're just, you know what I mean? They're being facetious, sort of. And we're like, can you tell me if the movie's good or not? You know what I mean? That this site will actually punish that kind of behavior, because if they're liking movies just based on their own whims, and they're not spending any time recommending or like trying to figure out like who might like this movie, or warning people away from movies that are really not good, this site will punish you for it, and you won't wind up in the what do you call it, the first viewed results. Now on this site, we'll also have a section, you know, you'll be able to follow certain people. So if you hit the follow button on a critic, then no matter what, they're going to show up first. You know what I mean? That means you're following them, and you want to know what they think about certain movies. You know what I mean? Whether or not they agree with you or not. But if you don't follow anybody, then it just tallies up what critics have your taste. And so then you can come in and you can like see a movie that you haven't seen before, and you're like, this guy or this girl always picks the movies that I like. If they like it, I'm gonna like it. You know what I mean? And if they say if they rate it as you have to see it, then I'm really gonna like it. You know what I mean? So that's what this site aims to do. It aims to make reviews better, and put critics in a more of a mindset of like truly recommending things that people would like, and trying to get in, like trying to be more of a, instead of just a critic for yourself, to be a critic for other people, to warn them or to steer them in a direction that, you know what I mean, for a movie that they'll like, or steer them away from a movie that they wouldn't like. Anyway, so that is what we're doing. This is, I'm hoping, like for me, myself, I like to talk about movies. So this is obviously the first video, and I'm really awkward on camera, but I'm going to get over that, and I'm going to keep pushing, you know, keep promoting this website. And I think this will be fun. Anyway, like and subscribe. Thanks.